Good morning, folks. I thought I would call myself, for the vlogging purposes, the cautious biker. I think that fits quite well my profile. I'm 46 years old. I'm a beginner rider and I'm driving 1 liter motorbike as my first motorbike. I've been doing that for a couple of months now, and I would like to record a series of vlogs, to help my fellow riders sort of understand my point of view in a way that can help them make their own decisions about what they want to do. Anyway, this morning I'm actually very excited because I'm going to my favorite motorbike shop. It's called On Your Bike, and you can find it online at onyourbike.com. And the folks there have been kind enough to allow me to test drive a Kawasaki Z1000SX class 2018, and to have me keep it for 4 hours. So what I would like to achieve today is actually try the commute to my workplace, maybe not the full one, but I would like definitely to try the Z1000SX on motorways, and also how it handles on urban roads. And that is because on the motorway I would like to check whether that motorbike is better than this one turbulence wise. If you see my previous vlog, in fact it was my first vlog, and yes, I admit it was rubbish, but one was my first vlog and I hope this one will be better. Secondly, it was very long, and I will make the future ones shorter, maybe in series. 3, it was 5:20 in the morning and I didn't have any breakfast or coffee or tea or anything, so my brain was still sort of sleeping. 4th, there was the whole novelty of vlogging. 5th, I'm not an English native speaker, as you probably have already found out by now. I'm half Italian and half English, so my dad was Italian, bless his soul, and my mom is English. But I grew up in Italy, and therefore Italian is my native language. Although I've been living in this country for 16 years now, certain things are difficult to sort of get once you get older. Anyway, with today's blog, I will, as I say, first of all, do a review of the Z1000SX from a beginner's point of view, then from a commuter's point of view, in terms of could the Z1000SX be the right motorcycle for long commutes, and 3, see how it handles on motorways and also how it handles on urban roads. So hopefully you will find that interesting. Probably I will divide the video in different sections, and if you do find it interesting, please, leave comments, subscribe to my page, because going forward I'll try to release more vlogs for topics that I think others are looking for, because I was looking for, or I'm looking for as a beginner. And sometimes I find that for certain topics there isn't simply enough material on the internet. There are a couple of very good blogs, like for example the Miss and Flyer, Revzilla, and they are sort of quite complete, but otherwise, sometimes for certain topics, especially for beginners, there isn't much material out there. So I'll try to improve. I hope that the camera angle now will be better, not tilted towards the right. See you later, folks. Okay, bye for now. This is the beautiful Kawasaki Z1000SX that I'm going to ride in just a minute. I'm really looking forward to it. It's beautiful, isn't it? Good morning, folks. This is the Aylesbury Cautious Rider, and as promised, I'm now driving a Z1000SX. So I have to say thank you to the guys at On Your Bike in Waddington for letting me have this bike, and also for about 4 hours. So the first impressions on this bike is that this is harder in a way than the Versys. So the Versys is really like sitting on a comfortable chair, riding along. This one it's more Spartan. Also, I would say that you know, at the high speeds, if I tackle in, it's fine, but if I stay upright, I get all the wind on my let's say from the neck up, which is a bit of no for me, because one of the main reasons I was looking around for different bikes was actually their ability to sort of shield me on motorways from turbulence while I'm going, you know, at high speeds, like you know, from 65 miles per hour onwards. The position is slightly more forward than the Versys, and the feet position is also a bit more at the back. When the acceleration, it's more aggressive on this one, and due also to the turbulence that pushes against my chest, it means that I need to in a way put more resistance in front of me, as if you were doing some abdominals, so pushing towards the front of the bike just to counteract the effect of the turbulence. The only way I see riding this bike without turbulence at high speed would be to tackle in. So maybe I'll try that on the motorway. The throttle is way more responsive than my one. I can also see that this says this one is on what is called the traction control 1, and it's got so full power traction control 1. Maybe I stop and I change that to 2, because I never ridden with 1, and yeah, I would like maybe some more assistance, as this is you know, the first time I take this motorbike out. So the whole point of today's test ride is to really check whether this could be a better commuter bike than my Versys 1000. And so far, obviously, it's too early to say anything about that. But the first impression is probably not, because what I'm looking for in my commuting motorbike is comfort and this motorbike, although is not uncomfortable, is from a first impression is less comfortable than my Versys. The other thing I would say, obviously, I mean, the brakes on this motorbike are amazing. However, the handling, so how the motorbike sort of tips on curves, seems a bit hard, so I need to be careful about that, because with my one it's a lot lighter to handle, I guess probably due to the higher position. So with this one I think one must have a conscious effort of sort of making more, more effort into the counter steering. It might also be because this is a new bike, so maybe the tires are new, I don't know. It sounds amazing in terms of engine sound, so that's great. It's got LED lights by default. Yeah, so the display wise is kind of the same as my one, a bit more modern. Yeah, so what I'll do is actually, I don't know how many miles I've got here in range. It says 108, so that's fine. Maybe I'll stop at the gas station to put some petrol. I don't think I will do crazy miles on this one, so maybe I won't do the whole commute. I will do a bit of motorway, and then, well, it's just for the vlogging purposes. I probably want to see how it handles on city roads. However, also the weather doesn't look too promising. Yeah, the engine sounds definitely better than my one, and I don't know if it's just a matter of the, how do you call it, the exhaust pipe, or it's just because, yeah, the setup is it's the same engine, by the way, as my one, but I think this has been fine-tuned for bit more like a better performance, being more aggressive. So if I should make a comparison between this one and the Kawasaki Versys 1000, my current motorbike, this one is a bit more Spartan, so I can feel the suspensions are a bit harder than my one. My one is really like plush. Obviously I'm sure that if I was to ride this one I could get used to it, but the position is obviously not as fast forward as a sport bike, because this is still a sport tourer, although it's more biased towards the sporting side than the touring side. Hello folks, so I'm approaching now the motorway, so I'll start my review of the Kawasaki Z1000SX and how it handles on motorways. Most importantly for me, I got the point of view of a commuter, because I use motorcycles for commuting. So I will want to see a couple of things. One is in terms of turbulence and how it goes. Secondly, in terms of how it handles like high speed, in terms of motorway speeds. And third, fuel consumption. So I can already see I'm at 55 now, and the wind is hitting my chest. I got the screen here that is in its highest position, so I have to say my current motorbike, the Kawasaki Versys 1000, does a much better job at this speed. Now, however, if I just tackle in a bit like that, the turbulence kind of disappear. Let's see acceleration wise. Whoa, okay, so yes, In terms of power, I think this motorbike is way more responsive and aggressive than my one. So, you know, I am like 50 now. I just touch. And yeah, it goes up. It goes up pretty quickly. So that's a good thing. Fuel consumption wise, I started with I think 100 miles range. I'm now at 91. So I think that, you know, if I had to go on motorways like that, and I would need to tackle it not to feel the turbulence, that would be too much of a strain for my back. So I don't think, honestly, that this motorbike is for me. I can see how now the Kawasaki Versys 1000 it's much better, and in a way I'm happy, because the Z1000SX was the motorbike that I was originally going for. But then as I sat on the Versys 1000, then I felt, yeah, this is a more motorbike for me. So in terms of power, this motorbike delivers effortless power. I mean, it just goes. But yeah, turbulence wise, I have to say, you know, if I was to, obviously you can buy aftermarket screens and all of that. And if maybe, you know, that was the case, for me, I would consider it. But as it stands now, I cannot possibly ride for 20 or 30 miles in this position. It's too hard. And if I was just to ride in my upright and normal position, it means that I would have finished the journey a lot more tired than with my Versys. So from a commuter point of view, I would say Versys much better than the Z1000SX, at least for me. Also, I have to say, my Versys 1000SX has got an aftermarket windscreen, which does a good job, now that I can see how these screens work. And maybe, you know, that makes the difference. The other thing that I find is that the suspensions on this bike are much harder than on my Versys 1000, and maybe that can be adjusted. But just to give you an idea, on this one I can feel, you know, all the various little bumps and bumps. I can feel the bike is a bit hard on them. My Versys 1000 sort of, I feel like a cushion when I hit some you know, some little, I don't know how you say, variations in the smoothness of the road. So yeah, it's something that for long commutes makes a difference. On long commutes makes a difference, because all you want so for the best, in my opinion, the best commuter bike is the one that is very comfortable, has power where you need it, it shields you from turbulence, and has got great miles per gallon. So if you know of a motorbike out there that ticks all these boxes, feel free to comment on this video, and yeah, and then I will look into it. My Versys 1000, I think it ticks all the boxes, with a couple of exceptions. One is the wind turbulence, but compared to this one, I would say the box there is ticked. The other one is fuel consumption on urban roads. Now, it must be said that I don't know the fuel consumption on this motorbike on urban roads, so I'll probably try to find out. Yeah, so power wise, you know, I was just what, at 5,000 revs, 6,000 revs, not even near the red zone, and already the motorbike was flying. So honestly, so I would say in terms of adrenaline, this motorbike is much more adrenalinic, if that can be a term, than my Versys. But as I said, I'm called the Esbury cautious rider for a reason. I'm not in search of adrenaline. I already done all of that when I was young. I'm 46 now. I'm more in search for comfort, fuel consumption, that kind of stuff, and security, I would say, right? So we all like security. Our families like us to be secure on the roads. So that's really what I'm after in the end.